Viktor Shokin is willing to testify on Biden family investigation. Here's a clip.
In the meantime, changing gears, new email revealing that Hunter Biden's former business partner, Devon Archer, met with then Secretary of State John Kerry back in 2016. Their alleged meeting came just weeks before Ukraine's top prosecutor, Viktor Shokin, was investigating Burisma when he was fired.
The redacted email shows Archer planned to meet with, quote, S, that's the redacted part, which Fox News Digital confirms refers to Kerry, on March 2nd of 2016. This comes as House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says Republicans are inching closer toward articles of impeachment for President Biden.
All right, so Viktor Shokin sounded off on one nationwide show over the weekend about Burisma's alleged corruption. He wanted to give his side of the story for the first time and using the Bidens as, quote, protection. Listen.
I have no doubt that there were illegal activities engaged in by Burisma. As a matter of fact, the criminal case had been started before me. The founder and CEO of Burisma started bringing in people who could provide protection for him. Hunter Biden was among them, and the corruption network expanded as a result.
So, by the way, he did say, I was reminded by Crystal, who edited the piece, he did say he's more than happy to come and testify in front of Congress. So
Congress just has to ask.
Right. So Mike Johnson says, yeah, we're going to do that. But Viktor Shokin came out and said, listen.
That'll be a crazy
I want to
testimony.
Dispel a few things. Number one, I was looking into Burisma. There's no doubt about it. Number two, President Poroshenko did not want to fire me. He was basically pushed into firing him. And now everybody knows because Joe Biden, in my view, foolishly bragged about it at the Council of Foreign Relations. At the very least, even if it was 100% true, why would you rub a country's face in it that you decided who would serve and who else would serve? For example, what if another country came over here and said, I want you to fire your attorney general? How would we feel about that? Well, they had no choice. Shokin went on to say it humiliated the whole country. Made it so obvious that we're a vassal of America.
What was interesting is he said he was poisoned twice with mercury, and you got the medical reports that actually confirmed that. He said, no doubt, there were illegal activities happening, and he said Joe and Hunter accepted bribes. He used that a little later in the interview. He said Joe was VP, and he ultimately hurt America's reputation and created a groundwork for Russia to invade Ukraine. And then later, Biden admitted all of this. He said, remember, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. And he said, well, he used SOB. He got fired. That's what he said on camera. He bragged about it.
And Hunter on camera, excuse me, not Hunter, Devon Archer on camera said Shokin was the problem. He was a threat to Burisma. So that dispels another thought that we wanted someone in there to investigate, and they didn't. He was getting close, and that's why he was ousted.
And is that why Devon Archer met with the Secretary of State John Kerry weeks before Shokin was fired?
And you got to figure, too, that John Kerry's son was also, for a while, part of that trio.
Yeah, they started Seneca.
And then he stepped aside.
They started Rosemont Seneca together.
It's according to the
it's all
Fox
connected.
News digital story about this regarding John Kerry meeting with Devon Archer. It's unclear what they talked about, and it's unclear if Burisma ever came up. But nonetheless, those are things that the House Republicans are pushing toward an impeachment inquiry. Some House Republicans have wanted to impeach this president since day one. Mike Johnson sat down with Brian a little while ago and talked a little.
Yeah, the reason why is because all this evidence, the Hunter Biden laptop, the CFR thing was a while ago. So yeah, we've just all known this before. So on day one, they're like, hey, we have grounds to impeach this guy already. The Hunter Biden thing, it's crazy that guy left the laptop at some random repair shop. That destroyed his family so much. They're all supportive of Hunter in private. They must hate that guy. It's like, you just ruined if you could have just not. And he put everything on his laptop. It's kind of like he just did it on purpose. He really might have. He had every photo he ever took on his laptop. It's like, why would you do that? All these text messages and all this stuff on your laptop. So it's like a backup. I don't know. Maybe he thought it was more secure for himself than a Google Drive or something. And he might be right. But yeah, that's just crazy. You'd think you'd try to get an encrypted service or something like that. And if you had the laptop, if you did think it was safer, why would you take it to a repair shop and then just leave it there? Yeah, that's just nuts. He just unveiled all this stuff because of it.
little bit about how what this guy from Ukraine is saying that many Americans are now wondering about our president.
Just think of it, the simplicity of it. Here's the summary. The president bribed or pressured a foreign leader to fire that country's top prosecutor because the prosecutor was investigating his son. And he used $1 billion of U.S. taxpayer money to have that bidding done. And then he bragged about it on video. I can't understand why every news outlet is not covering this as the first story this morning and throughout this process. This is Mr. Shokin, of course, is an important voice in this because he was directly involved. He was the target of the president. And the idea that he believes there was bribery confirms what many of us are already thinking.
So the drumbeat for impeachment getting louder. I saw that Donald Trump, former President Trump, took to Truth Social to essentially take that up. He said, he was talking about Congress. He said, these lowlifes impeached me twice, I won, and indicted me 4 times for nothing. Either impeach the bum or fade into oblivion. They did this to us. There was one other note I just saw on one of the TV blogs, Mediaite, where it talks a little bit about after, speaking of the presidential level, after the presidential debate on Fox, Emerson has done a new poll. Former President Trump was at 56%. He has now apparently lost a little altitude. He's down to 50. Ron DeSantis is at 12. He had been 10. Mike Pence went from 3 to 7. Nikki Haley went from 2 to 7. Chris Christie went from 3 to 5. And Vivek Ramaswamy went down from 10 to 9.
And you see, I saw a poll, almost 70% of Democrats do not want Joe Biden to run again.
See, he's too old.
Right. But Ro says just let Joe be Joe and let him loose. All right, and start doing some interviews and let him go.
See how that goes.
Right. So far, he's struggling to know how to leave the stage, let alone how to go through 50 states and sell his cause. And if you don't like the economy, he will yell at you. So I don't know if that is going to lift up his approval.
Well, people are going to the poll.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian.
Yeah, very interesting. Shokin, this guy could just really spell the doom for them completely. It's so damning. Like, all the other stuff is really damning, but him specifically, he's the guy who got fired. He talked to the president, and it's insane. So, yeah, I guess we'll just see what happens. But if he testifies, it's going to just get I love it because no matter what, it's shining a spotlight. Because most people, like people on the left and people on the right that know about this stuff, yeah, and we're like kind of battling back and forth. The people on the right like this, and then the people in Biden camp are always defending him, and for whatever reason. But normal people are just like seeing all of this stuff he's doing. Like Joe Rogan's talking about it more and more, and then that gets more eyes and ears onto this whole situation to be like, oh, so Biden really is corrupt. And then it goes, like I talked a lot about the media. It's just making them go away from the media, everybody, because like, why is the media never talking about this? They never talk about this. Why don't I hear about this? Only Fox News covers it. Why? So then they go to alternative media. They go to people on the internet, like people like Jimmy Dore and stuff that are also leftists, but they'll tell you the truth. You know, I love people on the left that are anti-establishment. I don't agree with them politically, like at all. But I like the people that are real. Like if Donald Trump was as corrupt as everyone says, I wouldn't like Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, like I've said in other videos, this isn't my first choice. I'd like Ron Paul, but he's obviously too old. And I like Dave Smith from the Libertarian Party. So yeah, but Trump is pretty good, you know, when you could criticize him where he did go wrong in his first term. I think he's going to do way better. I think he's learned a lot. He was too into the deep state and stuff like that, and he listened to him. I think that was like his biggest flaw. And I don't agree with him politically on everything either. Like, didn't he raise cigarette age to like 21 or something? He banned bump stocks, stuff like that. It's just like, I don't like that stuff. But I thought he was good, pretty good overall. See, that's how you could tell the difference between the left and the right. That's the point I'm bringing up, is people on the right will criticize Trump. People on the left won't criticize Biden. So that makes it way more likely, right? To normal people that Trump isn't the corrupt one. Because when you hear people on the right calling out Trump for his flaws, you know, like Dave Smith, he'll go on Joe Rogan. He's a libertarian. He'll go and talk and argue against Trump and all of his flaws, right? So, but then people on the left, they'll be like, no, Biden's perfect. Why aren't they like, okay, yeah, Biden's bad. Get someone else in there. Get RFK in there or whoever they want. But you just know straight up that Biden's bad. But that's kind of the thing at this point. Like their whole party's bad, right? It's just like, look at Fani Willis and Alvin Bragg and all this stuff. Look at the Attorney General, Merrick Garland. All this stuff, they weaponize the government. They're all bad. So if you're staying on the left through all this, you just either you're bad yourself or you just don't care. You just want your policies to go through. You're that politically just, okay, I really want these policies, and they're going to give me those policies. If they're corrupt, they're corrupt. Who cares? It's interesting, though, because you would think, hey, if they're corrupt, they're not going to give you what you want. They're just lying, right? That's the thing with corruption and why you shouldn't like people that are corrupt, right? Because they'll just lie and just be like, they're corrupt. Why wouldn't they be corrupt towards you? They're corrupt towards everything else. Like if Hillary Clinton got in there, or like Joe Biden just right now is a perfect example with what just came out, the alcohol. They want to regulate you to alcohol twice a week. You can only have 2 drinks a week. I don't know how they're going to handle fifths or anything. You can only have double shots, so there's destroying a huge American industry for no reason. And then aren't they the party that wants to legalize all drugs? So you would think you're going in there voting for this guy like Joe Biden's going to legalize weed and legalize magic mushrooms and all this. Oh, wait, what's this? He's making alcohol illegal. Like, he's just a liar. See, that's the corruption of all this. It's they go and get votes for power, or they just want to get votes to get power, and then they're not going to do what you want anyway, even if it's good for the polls. Like, why aren't the Democrats trying to legalize weed? That they always run on it, but they're not. I haven't heard that talked about federally like at all. And I mean, the right's getting more accepted about it. If the Senate and Biden wanted to legalize weed nationally, the right might actually compromise on some stuff like that. But no, they don't even bring it up. But then, okay, let's make alcohol legal. It's just all a sham. Get Biden out of there, get the corrupt people out of there, and then we can, like I was saying, like with Jimmy Dore, with leftists, and we can argue policy. But that's just all went out the window the last 2-3 decades or whatever. It's like you can't even argue policy. It's not about the policy anymore. It's just, hey, we want to win. If we win, that's all we care about. But the policy doesn't always come along with it. But leftists act like they do. If we get a leftist in there, the policy would come along with it. Look at, I was just saying, with the Biden thing in alcohol. It's not coming along with it. You're not getting what you want. These infrastructure bills just have all this, what is it? What do they call it? Pork belly spending or whatever. It's just going to nothing. It's not really going to help. I mean, some of the stuff in the infrastructure bill is okay. I mean, it's going to bridges and repairing stuff and stuff like that. I don't agree with like federalized infrastructure bills and stuff, but at least I'm just pointing out, okay, maybe it is somewhat beneficial in a way, right? I think it's mostly waste, but maybe there are a few benefits that here and there. But look at all the money they spend. It's not going to what it should be going to. But the leftists think they should. It should. So just point out the corruption. Get a leftist in there that actually, like, imagine if Jimmy Dore was president, right? He's a leftist. He wants universal health care and stuff. I disagree with that, but at least he's honest, and we can actually have a debate about it and, like, aren't arguing what's fake and what isn't. A lot of people on the left will be like, no, the whole thing about Biden's laptop is fake. MSNBC told me. When it's like, obviously, come on, it's not fake. You know what I mean? So... But yeah, I'll leave it there. It's just really interesting, and it's where do we go forward? You know, if the people on the left can't admit that their guy is not good and they should get a new guy. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for daily news updates, smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and share your thoughts on the story in the comments below. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.